Mobile Service Monday brought to you by Spiffy, the only full-stack mobile service platform trusted by top dealers and OEMs.
Jay, Corey, welcome to Mobile Service Monday. I almost messed up. I almost said the Mobile Mastermind Group because we just left that group. No, welcome to the show. We had you on about 2 months ago that we were talking about, and just want to get an update of the progress y'all have made, and some wins and learns and all that good stuff. So let's reintroduce yourself. Just introduce yourself to the audience.
So I'm Corey Wells, been involved at McCluskey Chevrolet for almost a year now. My background is heavy truck and trailer mobile service. Managed that for about the last 12 years or so before I came here.
Awesome.
Jake McCluskey, mobile service manager, kind of multiple hats. I'm sure, as you know, Jeremy, in the early stages of mobile service, you're running around doing everything, getting parts together, writing up tickets, invoicing tickets. So yes, mobile service manager, but I'm a little bit of everything. So I know a lot about mobile service.
Yeah, you are what I would call a Swiss Army knife, a little bit of everything, and probably Corey's in the same boat.
Need some appointments today. They're so bad.
Not the little Swiss Army knife, the big fat one that nobody ever uses because it's got so many gadgets on it. No, Corey, I like your background because it's a little bit unique for the automotive industry, and it freaks a lot of dealership people out when they talk about bigger trucks and stuff. And before I met you, when y'all came down, we started touring with international and freight liners and trailers and DOT inspections, and we just opened up a whole new world out there. That is very good for mobile service because it seems like that is an untapped market. It's the bigger vehicles, and it freaks everybody out, but at the end of the day, it's still nuts and bolts.
Yeah, it's a vehicle. You just got to make sure that you don't put your technician in a funny spot. Have the right guy. It's got some background before you feed him to the wolves, obviously. But there's good money to be made there consistently, especially if you have those fleets real local to your location.
Yeah. Yeah, we found out
that stuff is the parts department.
Oh,
they're the ones that freak out. That's
We're actually working on that. That's a tough one for us, is getting parts lined out.
Yeah, that did freak our parts guys out for a little bit. So we got a technician that he can do a little bit of everything. And sometimes I overpromise talking to some of these fleet customers. It's like, oh, you got a Honda engine? Yeah, a little lawnmower. Yeah, we can work on that. And our guy can do that. But when he puts a parts request in for electric trailer brakes, and they're like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Like, we figure it out.
Just know who to call to source those things from. We did an operator on an enclosed trailer for one of our landscaping customers. They have several trailers they pull their mowers around in, and I asked parts about getting an operator for a door. They said, a what? I said, a spring-loaded operator. No clue whatsoever. So I just called the place I knew to get it, went, paid for it, give them, I'm like, hey, here's the invoice, add it to that RO for me.
And they'll take their 40%.
Yeah.
And it's what's cool is like it's not that complicated. It's just something different. Because we just left our mobile mastermind group, and Nolan is a very good operator in his group, and very big in mobile. And he started talking about greasing the wheels of dumpsters and re-welding panels back up. And Corey, you were jumped on that because you're very familiar with that. And he says, all we're doing is pumping grease into a grease fitting on the wheels. And, you pick up a welder, and it's like, and they're making a couple $100 every single time and doing it less than an hour and stuff. And just the creative side of mobile service, just because it don't have a VIN number, you can make one up on something.
Oh, yeah. If you feel I had a recycler come to me one time, says, Corey, he goes, I know you guys will weld dolly legs on our trailers for us. He's like, we've got 700 dumpsters that got holes in the floor. He's like, could you fix those? I said, I tell you what, let me price a replacement panel for you. And I had a place that would punch the panel out, literally the exact size. 2 guys went over there, and off the back of a flatbed, literally dropped those panels in 100 of those dumpsters, welded all 100 of the first 100 in the first day.
Yep.
I charged him $250 for every one we touched. You know, it was
and
great.
it don't have to. And those guys, they don't care if it looks pretty or anything like that, because it's going to be beat up or anything. They just
need it done.
Yeah, it's a unique job that nobody really wants to do until they see a mobile van.
Yeah, or you find they and I get those calls. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And don't get me wrong, we do say, trust me, we say no. You know, do I want to on some of the stuff? No, but I know I don't have the right kind of technician for it, you know, to handle it. Or, you know, I don't want the manager of all services head to explode when he sees something come across his desk. You know, so we'll make money where we can and to kind of stay in our lane a little bit. That's
right. You gotta have that freedom to move. But so let's go back down to what everybody else normally does, not the dealerships, just a little bit, you know, try everything. But how is the automotive side going with the McCluskey Group?
So on the retail side, it's starting last Thursday. I mean, it's taken off since then. Really got on the call center. We call them the GRC, Guest Relations Center, but BDC. They weren't offering the mobile service right off the rip. So we have tweaked the kind of message when they first answer the phone. So as soon as customer calls in for an oil change, rotate, whatever service, the first question is, would you like us to dispatch a mobile technician to you? And the reaction is obviously great because that's new for our customers. And we went from a great week for us was 20 to 25 appointments. And then this week we're on track to be well over 100 appointments just from that one quick tweak in our scheduling team.
Yeah. And this is not the first time I've heard this. We've experienced it at Bozard. I talked to another dealership in Texas because he says, hey, our retail customers don't want it. And I said, have you listened to a phone call? And it's like, oh, they're selling it. And I was like, just listen. And the same scenario. And it's not the communications people's fault. It's like, it's still new. You know, they got to really trust it and they got to be reminded of it because it's forgotten. We had to put one of our service advisors in the communications center for at least a month just to get that confidence up where if they had a weird question, somebody from our team could answer it right on the spot.
Yeah.
And it just built that confidence up. And what helps with them if they get good feedback from it. It's like, hey, that customer loved it. But that is like, I've heard this so many times, and that's just a confirmation that, you know, what is the saying, you know, inspect what you expect kind of deal?
Yeah. People do what's inspected, not what's expected.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a good return on investment there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you've been managing for all these years, Jeremy. You know, it's like if you're not holding your folks accountable, it ain't happening.
No.
You know, if you're not digging down, you know, and auditing and making sure what that process is for the call center, the work order, the scheduling, you know, if you're not overseeing that, it gets lost in translation and things fall through the cracks, breaks the process.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're probably experiencing you're pushing for growth and stuff, and you're pretty much, this is a bad way, but it's like it's a controlled burn, basically. It's like there's a lot of little stuff on fire. So you're scattered a little bit because, you know, like you said today, it's like you're wearing a different hat today. And then you're running 100 miles an hour, then you forget about the fundamental stuff. It's like, you know, let me check with the communication center. How are they feeling today? And it's like, oh, I forgot about you, Corey and Jake.
Yeah. And we're doing the same thing. We tried a few things that didn't work, like you'd said, you know, in the beginning, you're going to try this, you're going to try that, and it's, you know, constantly tweaking, you know, and we kind of did a little bit of a, you know, pulling on the reins. About a week and a half ago, me and Jake had a pretty intense conversation. It's like, you know, hey, what are we missing? And we realized it was a lot of the little things, communication, staying on top of this, staying on top of the schedule and stuff. So we, you know, took a little step back, said, hey, we're going to wrap our arms around this piece and around this piece and control everything that feeds it and really make sure that the flow is the way it needs to be. And just in a matter of a few days, it's like, okay, this is where we need to live at with these smaller pieces to make sure it's going to roll the way it needs to, you know, and that was just a matter of just couple simple conversations and looking at it a little different.
It is pretty cool once you had those conversations, especially with the people that you have around you, and get their feedback, because stuff changes so fast in mobile. And then the process that you put in place a month ago is really hindering your growth now. And even all the stuff that we've learned. We had a meeting with our advisors, and our advisors work remotely now, and I was totally against it. I don't like it. I like being able to walk in a room and see people and really talk with them. And I put this scorecard. It's like, listen, we'll go remotely as long as there's like a target that everybody hits, because you're not there any day. It's like, hey, if you're closing tickets, you got to be above average. You got to be, if you're below average, then there's a problem. And I've met with the service advisors this past week, and that scorecard in the beginning served a purpose, but now it was hindering them of thinking outside the box. It's like, hey, we like to try new things, but now I'm scared that if I'm not up to average, you're going to say something to me. And so I put my own cap on the people, and it's like, well, if the scorecard is hindering you from thinking outside the box, let's just squash it. So they redesigned their own scorecard, and now it's like, okay, now it's more effective. Now they want to actually call the customers 2 days ahead and said, hey, Jake, it's like, hey, your car has 60,000 miles. While we're there, would you like to go ahead and put an air filter and cabin filter in it? Would you like to do this? It's almost, now they're not looking so much at the measurable. Now they have the freedom of actually producing income, where, it was the wrong process basically at that point.
Are your service riders just on a hourly piece or a salary plus percentage, or how you run yours?
They were on a salary plus percentage, so their percentage is pretty strong, just so they're pushing on that side of it.
Sure. Lean heavy to make more money.
Exactly. And that's what we're looking at now, is the effectiveness. I'm almost counting steps that my technician takes, basically. So if I can pre-sell a lot of this stuff, or, tee up our, technician, it's like, hey, it has this many miles. Let's make sure we're checking that. Now my advisors are looking at the history. It's like, hey, they didn't replace their cabin filter back at, 20,000 miles ago. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get everything we need on that van before they make that appointment. So the advisors are taking a little bit more time and pre-selling and just staging it. Just so the technician's not wasting time. It's like, heck, if they already sold it, then the technician can fly through it. He's not.
Sure. If you get out there and things, when you're into F-150 and the average, Ford says the average brake job on an F-150 is 53,000 miles. If you can throw a set of rotors and pads in that vehicle, when he's got them, and hey, shows the picture to the, the owner of the vehicle while he's there, or fleet customer, hey, these are almost there. You may go ahead and do them. Boom, he just scored a couple $100 on one appointment. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, especially on our fleet side, because now we're pushing fleet. That's the next thing. We almost lost a fleet customer this past week, because it's like, every time you come, you inspect my brakes and you said it needs them. And now my schedule's so packed, I can't get it that same day like I could 2 months ago. And I'm like, oh, crap. And now I'm politicking the parts department. It's like, hey, I need you to put brakes and rotors on my van just in case.
Just in case. How'd that go with the controlled inventory? I bet somebody had an aneurysm.
So we're blessed to have a good parts that works with us, and it's our job to make sure if it doesn't sell, I get it back. So that was my promise. It's like, hey, if we're going to do this, Marcus, it's like, you got to give the parts back the same day. You can't let it sit on the van for 2 or 3 days and say, oh yeah, I forgot. So it's a lot of policing, and I reckon policing is a bad word, or, it's a lot of monitoring to make sure that you're following through with it.
Now, that's kind of one of the reasons that I want to, if we do a separation, where we're strictly our fleet and mobile location in our Tachyon, where I can pull that part into my inventory as a separate piece. Now I'm controlling it. I'm ultimately responsible for paying back the dealership for that part. But if I have it in stock on my location, then that frees up the parts department from having to have that extra worry of, oh, that part left and it's not assigned to an RO, which I understand. They got to control their inventory. But if that's basically it's a sell to us, now we're responsible for. So we're sitting on $10,000 in inventory just so we can do what you're talking about. Have that part available for that customer. Now, can we do that all the time? No. But I think if you run a general list of parts, I mean, you can get a pretty good idea of, oh, hey, guess what? I'm moving 100 sets of this particular pad a month. I need to have that on 2 or 3 of my vehicles or on these vehicles on that fleet. It gets you out in front with the customer.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're struggling with now is we have my advisors want me to hire more parts delivery drivers, and I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. It makes sense in their eyes because it's like they can sell that job, but then I'm looking at another hourly rate and another vehicle, and then that guy, and it never fails. It's like we got one parts guy, he's going out 30 minutes away, so it's going to suck up, at least an hour and 15 minutes that I'm not going to have another guy. You can never have enough people.
We use Uber.
Yeah, we've done
parts.
that.
We have no parts runners. We just use Uber.
Do you have his contact? Because I've been trying to I went through DoorDash and I went through Roadie, and now I'm trying to get a hold of somebody from Uber.
Uber and Lyft. Oh yeah, we just order a Lyft it's for a person.
Like for a person.
Yeah, no, just a regular Lyft. And then once we get the driver, I'll call him back. Hey, you're just going to O'Reilly's or you're going to the Chevy store to pick up this part for me, and you're taking it to my technician.
Y'all are misleading this poor Uber driver, thinking he's going to pick up Jake at O'Reilly's.
Yeah,
You're right. A brake rotor.
And you know what he's not going to do? He ain't going to tell you no.
Yeah, because they throw it in their trunk. They love it. They don't have another person.
He ain't got to talk to nobody. He grabs your part, drops it off to your guy.
Really?
It sounds crazy, I know, because when the first time you told about and I know this dinner, I'm like, there ain't no way the guys are okay with that. But they did. We've done. How many times have you done it?
Well, I mean, just the other day I was up at a fleet customer doing a bunch of services, and a couple of drivers pulled up. They needed oil changes and they wanted fuel filter, and a couple of them needed engine air filters. So I called parts. They got it ordered at a local parts store, and then I just scheduled an Uber. He went in a van, picked it up, and then he threw the stuff over to me over the fence because it was like a gated kind of lot that we were working on. And the dude, he came over, and it was a battery too. But yeah, I jumped over, grabbed all the parts. But I stayed working while the parts were 15, but we were an hour away. So it's like, yeah, parts could have taken us that. But instead of doing that, we just called the local parts store and I ordered a Lyft.
I still think it's easier to take the responsibility of the finding a piece of stock, the parts on the vehicle for the record.
Yeah, but
we run into that so I reckon I'm just too much of I reckon Uber drivers have seen a little bit of everything. So like you said, it's like, I'd much rather have a box beside me than a drunk person or something.
Another thing I've been doing too is when I'll get lifts all the time because I'll just drop off a customer's car. We don't have 2 people to pick me up, and I'll just get a lift back to work. But or the parts person, the one I ordered to do parts, I'll get their number and just save it. And then I'm about to start, when I get enough in this area, I'm going to start a group chat. And then when I need a part ran somewhere, I'm just going to send in the group chat of all these Lyft drivers that I've met, and then just say, can anyone run this part from here to there for me? I'll throw you $20. So that way you don't have an hourly person clocking 40 hours a week and they're sitting for 3, 4, 5 hours out of the day, and they're really running only 3, 4, 5 hours out of the day. It's just as you need it, a parts runner. But yeah, we've not ran into one person that said, nope, I won't do that. And obviously we're going to be respectful. We're not going to have an Uber person go pick up 4 tires at US Tires. And, what the or some crazy big part. I mean, it's all, for the most part, on mobile, it's easy stuff. Filters, blades, small alternators, batteries. So we've had a lot of success with that.
But we've been having a conversation about doing some onboard stocking because it makes the upsell easier.
Oh, yeah.
It does. We always run into like a O2 sensor or something like that it's like, man, if we had the part, we could knock it out and still make our next appointment. So I am going to try from Uber, the non-person Uber driver. It's like, hey, here's your passenger. It's an air filter.
I love it. Just pull right up to and then you share the drivers on Lyft. You can't, I don't know about Uber, but you just share the driver's information with the technician, and then they'll get a text like, hey, your driver's 10 minutes away. And then the driver will call them once they get there. If it's a little confusing, you're on a business lot. But yeah, no, they can watch the driver. It's like, okay, he's about to pull up. They'll stop working on the car, reach over the fence, grab all the parts they just ordered, and then go back to work.